Good afternoon again, everybody, and welcome to the 2012 Q Sports International U.S. Bar Table Championships. We're coming to you live here at the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno, streaming on the Action Report, and our coverage is presented by OBQs and sponsored by Kamui. This is our first 8-ball match on the stream, although the 8-ball division's been underway for several hours now. And we got Django Bustamante versus newly crowned U.S. Bar Table 9-ball champion, Mr. Stan Tourangeau. Snapped that 9-ball in the case game after Glenn checked the rack.
So just run it. I'll take it, but you know what I'm saying? Okay.
And I think we're in for some exciting 8-ball. This is a race to 5. Alternate break format as usual.
Mind if I join you for this one, Ken?
Oh, please do.
Look at Easy, leaving beer bottles laying all over the place. And what's worse is they're non-alcoholic beer bottles.
And we'll take a second here when we get an opportunity to go over the rules for 8-ball, since this is our first streamed 8-ball match.
Here we go. Race to 5?
Yeah, race to 5, yep. Looks like he's going for the second ball. He did. All right, the rules of play are as follows. When you rack the balls, 8 in the middle, a solid in one corner, a stripe in the other. It's rack your own, it's alternate break. The table is always open after the break until groups are established. And after the break, you may shoot a solid into a stripe or a stripe into a solid. It's call, ball, and pocket. Obvious shots don't have to be called, but things like banks and kisses, binks and combinations do need to be called. Any foul is ball in hand, including a scratch or foul on the break. It's not ball in hand behind the line, it's ball in hand anywhere.
That's all ball is foul?
No, cue ball fouls only. And it's cue ball fouls only, by the way. That's what Francisco came over to double check. And the 8-ball is never neutral. It cannot be used as the first ball in any combination. It can be used as the middle ball if you were playing like a 1-8-6. But other than that, it's 8-ball, as you know it. And an 8-ball pocketed on the break doesn't win. The breaker would have the option to spot the 8-ball and continue to shoot, or he may break over. And the only other possibilities for loss of game would be if you make the 8-ball before your group is cleared. If you make the 8-ball in other than the pocket you're playing in, you lose. If you make the 8-ball and foul or scratch, you lose. And if you jump the 8-ball off the table, you lose. Any other foul on the 8-ball would simply be ball in hand. So if a player is kicking at the 8-ball and misses the ball altogether, it's not loss of game, it's simply ball in hand. The easy way to remember that, folks, is as long as the 8-ball is still on the table, the game is not over. But this game's about to be over, with Django with a break and run in game number 1. And it's Stan's turn to break.
Never seen Bustamante play bar table 8-ball before. Have you?
No, I have not. I was looking forward to seeing his crushing break, and I don't know if you noticed it, Justin, but he broke hitting the second ball.
Yeah.
A lot of guys do that, and seems to be a pretty good way to control the cue ball and sometimes get that 8 moving. And again, we want to thank Kamui for their support and sponsorship of this great event, along with our presenter, OBQs. Tournament direction by Bad Boys Billiard Productions. Tables by Diamond, 860 Simonis, Aramith Balls, Red Circle Cue Ball, and the Magic Rack.
I'd also like to thank AZ Billiards, Jerry and Mike at AZ Billiards for all their support and everything TAR does. We appreciate that. If you're not familiar with AZ Billiards, by some miracle, go check it out, azbilliards.com. All the news in pool and biggest forums in pool as well. So here we go. First break for Stan.
Yeah, let's see how Stan breaks, whether he's going straight at the head ball or not. It does look like he is. You'll see a lot of guys rack the one ball in front, but there's really no requirement to do so. It's just that most of us grew up playing 8-ball, putting the one in front, so you'll probably see that a lot, but it absolutely doesn't matter. And the rack has to also be random other than the 8 in the middle, and a solid in one corner and a stripe in the other.
Cue ball got away from him there.
Yeah. Looks like a dry break. The table is open, so Francisco has his choice. And he, as I said before, he can shoot a solid into a stripe or a stripe into a solid. All object balls other than the 8 are legal object balls until the groups are established.
I have to admit, Ken, that bar table 8-ball is my least favorite game.
Really?
Yeah.
Least favorite on a bar table?
Yeah, bar table specifically.
Okay. And what is your favorite bar table game?
Rotation games.
Yep.
Bank pool's fun.
Yeah, it sure is.
But
do you like 8-ball on a big table?
I do.
Yeah.
When it's played, I mean, yeah.
Played at the higher levels.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about from a spectator's point of view.
Exactly.
But, yeah, bar table on a big table is a different game, in my opinion.
The strategy is much different, yeah.
I was fortunate. Well, top guys can make it look like child's play. They can make it look like 9-ball on a bar table if the break's right.
Of course, one of the keys to successful bar table 8-ball, big table as well, but even more so on bar table, is when you start shooting at a group of balls, you better have a plan to get all the way out, because if you don't, what you've really done is you've removed all your soldiers off the table,
Sure.
and now your opponent's got pretty much nothing in his way.
And that's, I can kind of see. Basically, this is why I don't like bar table 8-ball, is there's a lot of this, what we're seeing right now. Is because there are so many possibilities and it is such a strategic game that, there's a lot of studying that has to take place.
Yeah. It would be interesting to play it with a shot clock, but then you'd have to speed up your thinking, and I think if you did that, probably a 45-second clock would be reasonable.
Sure, absolutely. And there's, it's, to me, bar table 8-ball is as much of a moving game. I wouldn't go so far as to say as one pocket, but, in a continuum, I'd probably put it second.
I agree. What I found interesting there was Francisco went ahead and shot the solids. He shot the one ball, knowing that he's got that 6 down there, but at the same time, that 6 is preventing Stan from doing anything in the way of running out.
Sure.
But the only ball I see that Francisco could use, well,
maybe the 5 somehow.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I kind of like this position Stan's in here because, he would have had to break that 11 and 14 out anyway, so it doesn't really matter with the 6 there. If he gets into this cluster, he's probably going to move the 6 out anyway. He could go for him right here. And he certainly did go for him right there.
Well, he might pay the price for that, although he's only left Francisco the 6 in the upper left corner. But if he can execute that, I think he can get the cue ball to bounce off the 11 and come out to the middle of the table. The rest of the solids are open. It looks like the 2 can squeeze in the side if he has to go that route. But the 5's the trouble ball now for him. He may clear both of those out, opening that pocket for the 5.
Something's moving. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, the 15 still blocks the 5, but it's playable in the side. It's bankable. If he gets straight on the 2, he can draw back on the 5. So this is where the surgical aspect of the game comes into play.
It's extremely demanding when it comes to precision and position play.
Right.
And everybody already knows I'm a Shane homer anyway. But I'll tell you what, back in Sioux Falls years ago, I used to watch him play on valley bar tables. I mean, you talk about with his break. I mean, it was 30, 40-second racks. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like...
Yeah. Well, I think other than Shane, probably the 2 or 3 other guys here with the most powerful 8-ball breaks would be Django, Mitch Ellerman, and Larry Neville.
Oh, yeah, for certain.
I'm sure there's other guys here that break, pretty powerfully too, but those are the names that come to mind immediately.
You know, it's like every year, I've been coming here since 2006, and streaming since, did we stream in 07? I think we did.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that, Stan's always right there. Glenn's always right there.
Sure.
And people have always said, the bar table is an equalizer. And I think it is to a certain extent. When you see guys like that, Jerry Machin beat Francisco Bustamante.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean... There's been some interesting talk about people. Shane actually mentioned to me that he thought bar tables are the future.
Well, from a standpoint of...
Pros.
Yeah, well, no, but I'm saying from a standpoint of popularity, nationwide, at least in this country, there must be 10 bar tables to every 9-footer.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said for...
Some kind of pro bar table tour.
Yeah, you play on the same thing that people in the bars or the leagues can play on. It would be interesting. I think, the top guys would still rise to the top, but you'd probably see a few more.
Yeah, and it would just take them a little time to get adjusted. A lot of them are so used to the big stroke and all of that. But I'll tell you, someone who's not here, and if he was, he would probably be the -- threat to Shane, I think, would be Darren on bar table
Darren
8-ball.
does play great bar table 8-ball.
And Chris Melling,
Yeah, they both play. Darren's history is that English 8-ball on a small table with super tight pockets.
Yeah, what are they, 2.5-inch pockets and 1 3/4 balls or something like that?
I think it's a 6-foot table.
Is it a 6?
Yeah.
I thought it was a 3.5 by 7. But
no, I think it's 3 by
right.
6. I think it's 3 by 6, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can correct me if I'm mistaken. As I'm sure will happen.
And between Darren and Chris Melling, I think they've got like 15 or 16 English 8-ball titles between them, and guys like Carl Boys have a few too.
But a guy like Darren is just a champion. You know what I mean? Anyone at that level, I think, can excel at just about anything they want to on a pool table.
Well, I'd have to say that in the past 6 years, no one has made a better transition from small tables to big tables than Darren Appleton. I mean, just look at the first time the guy played straight pool, didn't even know the rules and won the tournament, Derby City.
Yeah. I remember that.
And then, last year, not this past month, but a year ago, had the high run, 183 on a diamond.
Well, something with Darren that suits straight pool, I think, is he has a tremendous ability to focus. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of his strongest attributes. Is he really can concentrate and focus for long periods of time.
And he pockets so cleanly too, and that's the result of the, as you said, the English 8-ball. All right, Stan with the stripes here, and he's Got the 11-9 sitting in front of the side. Not sure about his ability to. Well, he can get to it. I mean, he can play the 14 and the 13 and then those two, and he's going to have to move the 11 a little bit after he makes the 9 on the side. Usually the first thing when you come to the table after the break in 8-ball, let's say the table's open, the first thing you really want to look at is where's the 8-ball and what's around it. And is...
Are you a believer in working the run out backwards?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to look at the 8-ball and work backwards and see, first of all, does the 8 have pockets? If it doesn't, what's impeding it? If I can take the group that allows me to clear those balls, that's the group I hope to take. But, yeah, I definitely think you've got to play this backwards. It's kind of similar to the last 4 or 5 balls in a rack of straight pool, where you're looking at your key ball, your break ball, your key ball, your ball before the key ball, and you're kind of playing it backwards. And it's funny, as you play a game like straight pool, the more balls you get off the table, actually the harder the rack becomes.
Yeah, because your position has to become more and more precise.
Right. And in 9-ball or rotation games, the more balls you take off the table, the easier the rack becomes.
Right.
So now Stan's got himself in a little bit of a bind here because he has no clean shot at a stripe. And he's going to have to jump the 1 to make the 15. And if he does that, I think he'll have a good opportunity to clear the rest of these. But remember, this is call ball in pocket, and he must hit your ball first. So if he grazes the 1, it's a foul. Nice shot. Don't
Great
scratch.
shot.
Don't scratch after that shot. Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
A bad break there. Okay. Nothing spots, by the way. So it's ball in hand for Francisco with all the solids out there. The 3-4 is going to need a little bit of attention. And let me also mention to all of you that are thinking, well, let him just lock him up behind there and get him on a foul. There is no 3-foul rule in 8-ball. And what there is, though, is a provision for a stalemate game. If the balls are in such a position that no one can win, you know, that often happens. Let's say the 8-ball's hanging in the corner with a stripe dead in front of it, and you got solids. You've just made your last solid. Now it's your shot. You can't pocket the 8. You'll lose. And the other guy, if you give him ball in hand, he's not going to be able to shoot his ball without pocketing the 8. So there is that provision. I doubt it's going to come up here, especially with players like this. But the point being, there is no 3-foul rule in this game. But as we've said, if you're going for your run out in your group and you don't get out and the other guy's balls aren't tied up, you're probably going to lose the game. Just a stop shot here, and it's going to be 3-0. Just pull it over and play the 8 in the other corner or the side.
You know, I just love watching this guy play pool.
It's like watching someone play a violin. I've often used that analogy with Efren, but Francisco has just the loosest, most beautiful approach. So 3 games played and 3 games on Django's side. This is a race to 5. So it could be over here pretty quickly.
Where are we at? 3-0?
Yeah. you may see Stan or guys that have played 8-ball a lot of their life trying to rack the balls with an alternating solid stripe pattern. And again, it's not required by the rules. They are really supposed to be random. But as long as they're not pattern racking, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. Stan's going to have to switch a corner ball there. Hold on.
Ken running out of the booth to save the day.
You any aspirin?
I don't. Andy does, I think. Easy E wanting his aspirin.
All right, it looks now like Stan may be using the second ball break technique like Francisco did. I don't know. No, he's looking like he's going straight at the one. Watch the second row of the 2 balls and see if either one of them head to the side pocket. .15 was headed there. Did make a ball, so he has his choice. So see right here, I would look at the 8-ball and see the fact that the 8-ball won't pass the 13 in that pocket. It will go in the other pocket, but if I take the solids, how do I get on the 8? So I think he's pretty much locked into taking the stripes here and starting with the 11. Since he's right there, he's got to clear that. He's got to clear that path for the 9 anyway. So it could be like 11, 13, 10, 15, 14, 9, 8. He also could play the 9 off the 15 in the side, but that's going to send the 15 away from all of his balls. Yeah, that's what he's calling, the 9 in the side. He'll probably just hit it softly where the 15 won't move too much. But again, the correct choice because of the location of the 8-ball.
First time we play 8-ball.
Yeah.
It's 3-0.
These guys,
Well, in the last game, Stan was on the stripes, and he got himself a little hooked, and he had to play a jump shot on the 15, and he made the jump shot, and the cue ball followed right in. Francisco had a ball in hand with all his balls open. And as like in straight pool, when you look at the 8, you want to figure out what your key ball is, what your ball before the 8's going to be. In this case, if he were to get straight in on the 10 in the corner or the side, that would be sufficient. So I would guess, though, given the position he's in right now, he may go down for the 14 and the 15. Play the 14 in the corner, 15 in the side, and then just get straight in on the 10, play a stop shot, and he should be right on the 8. And again, this is where you can see the experience that Stan has playing bar box 8-ball. Your initial shot selection is so critical when you have an open table like he did here. And that should be just about perfect.
Boosty's playing good, huh, Ken?
He ran out all 3 racks. He broke and ran the first rack. And then the second rack, they had a couple of innings between each other until Stan missed the ball and inadvertently opened up a cluster for Francisco. And he was able to get out from there.
This is our last match.
I see some people with iPads around the room that are logged into the stream right now watching.
That's terrific.
Watching
yeah.
2 matches at once.
course, the only thing we don't have here, would be like the big overhead screen to let everybody else watch.
Boosty was
But
trying to use the rack. Stan handing the magic rack. Boosty just shrugged his shoulders. He's probably never racked them with racking the 8-ball with a magic rack is a little goofy.
it is, yeah, it is. Let's see if he remembers to alternate the corner balls here.
Once again, I want to thank our sponsor, our presenting sponsor for the stream is OBQs. You go check them out at obqs.com. They've got all kinds of products. They're making their own in-house cues now. And I believe they do have got a flasher over there. And look at that, he's got an Air Force sweatshirt on.
Nice.
Mouth breather.
He is, or I am. Am I mouth breathing? It's like, remember doing commentary with Nasty?
Yeah. We were talking about that.
Oh, really?
We all missed that.
Django's going to hit the second ball here. Going to hit the 15 ball.
Look at that. Good spread.
Does that guy have a flash on that camera? Is that what you said?
He did, but I'll see if he turned it off. I mean, he just flashed it, so he had to have turned it off.
Okay.
Nobody who's in the Air Force wears Air Force sweaters. It's somebody's dad or cousin or uncle or
Yeah.
Okay.
Or too cool for that.
Or he shops at the Goodwill store.
Get him, Ken.
That's where you sent all your stuff, right?
Sick burn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, I did. I donated all my uniforms.
All right. Well, let's look at this rack here and see the 8-ball's wide open. It'll go in either pocket. But I think the fact that 2's in a funny spot is why he's going to go ahead and take the stripes.
I like Boosty from here, sir.
No bet.
Only question is like maybe that 9-ball by the side pocket.
I think he's playing the
Right
9.
now?
I think he's playing the 9. Is he playing the 10?
Not right now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 10, 13, 11, and then 14, 9, 15.
Just get all that easy.
What?
10, 13, 11.
Did you tell Ken how your first match went?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he told me, yeah. I told him he beat the line. He made 5 balls.
Yeah. See, you know what the line was? The line was that I was going to concede a game and actually go to -1.
Oh.
I was going to get beat 5 to -1. That was, if you went to the sports book, that's what the line
What they
was.
had you at?
Yeah. You can go negative, right, Ken? It would be -1 if
the
I
on-
concede.
The only way, yeah, you'd
Yeah.
have if you conceded the first game, he'd be 1 up and you'd be 1 down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the few guys that can play a race to 5 and lose by 6 games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna if I'm losing pretty bad, I'm gonna concede and go. Oh nope, that's a penalty for me. -1, and just keep on conceding until I lose 5 to -3.
Yeah.
That's easy, folks.
It'd be a record.
That's how his mind works.
You gotta be known for something.
Boosty going to the hill.
Well, the good news for Stan is he won't have much time to kill here, and he can go
Celebrate
back and
his-
bask in his glory for a while.
Celebrate
right?
his 9-ball
Yeah.
victory.
I mean, really though, how do you get your head right into something like this
tough.
after what you've just
It's
gone
tough,
through?
tough.
Especially
you know?
when he's got a legitimate shot to win the all-around too. We would love to win this match, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well.
Ken said, well.
Well, yeah, well, you can want in one hand and
And the other and see what
fills
fills up first.
So, Justin, is it this is our last broadcast for the day? Is that
It
correct?
is. It's the last live one. And then
Okay.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the chat, and we're going to pick out some, just as my man Clegg would say, just the choice nugs.
it's a choice nugs.
You're going to loop those for the
Yeah.
rest of the evening?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I spent the summer, man, touring with Widespread.
I never really got into them.
I'll bring you a tape, man. Just the choice nugs, though.
Well, even though there won't be anything streamed after this match, I'm sure this table will have to be in use for the tournament anyway, because they need every table they've got. So there will be some matches probably played down here.
Oh boy.
And are we 10 a.m. again, kickoff
10
tomorrow?
a.m. tomorrow. Tomorrow is a free day.
Okay, great.
Actually, 10 a.m. is the tentative schedule. That could change.
All right.
Depending on what, I got to talk to them about the schedule. Because the way they're making it sound is like this thing is going to be going.
Real late.
Yeah, and basically just kind of the way today worked out is Andy and I are both kind of wrecked from the week. So we're going to try to.
Yeah, and we could face the same situation on Sunday as well.
Well, that's one of the things I'm kind of looking towards is because I already spoke with Bonnie and she said it's going to be, they're going to get, these matches are going to get stacked up. The 8-ball always gets stacked up.
Oh, yeah, it does.
And even with the 40 tables, you know, with a field this big.
Doesn't matter how many tables you got if
Yeah.
your brackets aren't moving.
Right. See?
Please, as soon as your match is over, turn in your score sheet. Your score sheet doesn't need a cigarette. It doesn't need a bathroom. Please bring it up.
I didn't hear what you
Your
said.
score sheet doesn't need a cigarette. Your score sheet doesn't need a bathroom break. Just bring your score sheet up.
Dude, Rick
Go
and
Bonnie,
Bonnie,
all right.
Rick and Bonnie are the
I'll tell you,
best.
they should just go on the road as a comedy team.
I mean, think about the type of mindset you would have to do what they do for a living.
To see
Well,
the same
when-
things over and over again.
Yeah. And
Well,
it's-
look at it this way. They're basically parents to 43,000 children
Yeah.
throughout the year.
Yeah.
Babysitters, psychiatrists, you know, everything.
That there was something Bonnie told me yesterday. Somebody told her or said something to say it, but it was a saying, and it was Bonnie's no is a lot nicer than Rick's yes.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, one of the most famous slogans that we've had over the years, and it was actually someone that asked us this question at Derby many, many years ago, but they're going to make T-shirts that say, "What time is my 3 o'clock match?"
Well, you know what? That does sound funny on occasion, but this match was supposed to start at 2:30.
Well, you know, but under...
Right. I understand.
Yes,
but
I know.
I don't think you do.
no idea. Well, Derby used to be the worst for that.
Oh, God. Derby would be, what day am I going to play?
Right.
The first time I went to Derby, I was like weight number 6 or something like that. So I get down like 2 in the afternoon, and Scott says, "Come back in 2 hours." I come back at 4. Come back in 3 hours. I come back at 7. Check with me at 10. Anyway, I lagged at 3:30 in the morning, my first match.
Yeah.
And that's when the screens in the hotel room were unreadable.
Right. Yeah.
And no one could tell you anything. It was just basically sit here for 15 hours, and we'll call you.
Did you win that match?
Hell no.
Oh, okay.
No, I played the Derby Banks event one time.
How'd you do?
I think I lost my first match and then I forfeited out of my second one.
You rebought and then forfeited?
Yes,
Nice.
because
That's strong.
the reason why was because I bought back in, and that was the same thing with Ken. Is I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally I was just like,
Yeah,
You don't care.
screw it.
Yeah, you just don't care.
I'm with you guys on that one.
No, that first year I went, I entered the one pocket division, and I hate one pocket, but I did it like everybody else does just to get the player pass. You know, that was the year before I joined the staff. So anyway, you know, it's 3:30 in the morning, and I draw Howard Vickery, who still at that point could play a little, and I actually
And it
won.
was before he was in prison.
I was
Yeah.
just going to say, what's he up to
Yes,
now?
yeah. So I actually won a game, but that was it. And then I said, you know, since I'm already here, I might as well play 9-ball. So I draw Hillbilly off the bat, play in the chapel, get drilled 7-1.
Man, I missed the chapel.
Yeah,
Just that whole building, there was just something about it.
yeah, it was the atmosphere. I tell you could write a book of stories about the stuff that went on there.
Oh, for sure.
The fire alarm going off.
Yeah, I
we all
remember
go
that.
outside.
Nasty
30
got
below.
stuck. Nasty got stuck.
Yeah,
What
Remember?
yeah,
He was stuck in the stairwell.
yeah, Yeah.
Because
did it
they
get-
locked the doors or something like
The
that?
doors automatically lock because the fire alarm went off. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's January, it's about 8 below. Everybody's outside, and then the lights
was
go
there.
out. Yeah.
I was there.
And nobody wants to leave because nobody wants to leave their cue stick on the table. And they're all worried about where the ball's going to be when we come back and all that. And we were outside maybe an hour and a half.
Dude, my favorite nasty fire alarm story. It was the second of the real second event we traveled to, and it was the Q Olympics.
Yeah.
At
The little private room we had.
The hotel there in
Right,
Louisville,
yeah.
and there was a fire alarm because there was a real fire. It was in the ceiling over like the vestibule, like an entrance,
At the Clarion itself, or
Yeah.
over in
Where we were.
Okay. Yeah.
and in like the convention area they had.
Yeah.
So anyway, things going off. Security guards are like, "You guys got to get out. You got to leave." And so anyway, Nasty's sitting by the door. Everybody's going out of the room, and Nasty's just sitting there. And so I went out, and I figured he was behind me. Turn around, no Nasty. So like half an hour, 40 minutes later, they let us back in. Nasty's still sitting in that same chair, just sitting there. And I asked him, I said, "What happened, man? Didn't they make you leave?" And he said, "The guard came by and tried to tell me to leave, but I told him we got 20 grand worth of shit in this room. I'm not leaving." And he did. He sat right
was
there through the
something.
fire alarm. I'm not leaving.
Although the Q Olympics itself might not have been what we all hoped it would be.
That was awesome for me.
For Tar.
It was like a summer camp for
the
cool
Shane,
people.
For the Shane Earl match, and then the
Danny, I was the
Schmidt
first
Harriman
Danny and
won.
Schmitty.
Yeah, and then we had Bartram and Gabe. Didn't they play a set? And then you had the one pocket final, Chohan and Gabe. You had 2-set final there.
Yeah, and Chohan played so good.
Oh yeah. Well, it went 2 sets, but I mean the second set.
Yeah, but that
Tony
second
just
set,
Tony just
played like he had a plane to catch.
He did. I think his grandfather had passed away or something that week, so he had to get out of there.
I enjoyed
But
that.
yeah, a lot of good memories from.
And you want to know what's funny? And here's another story about what happened at Q Olympics. Mark met Sonny there. So, yeah.
I know. As a matter of fact,
I
we
introduced him.
We had dinner. We went to that.
True story.
We went to that Chinese buffet thing, like across the street from the hotel. I don't know if you went there. We went out there, and Josh Ulrich, which was Mr. Sonny.
Yeah.
And so they're sitting over
Not
there.
at that time.
No,
previously.
but anyway, so we're all eating there and everything, and Josh introduced me to Sonny as this is my ex-wife, and and then of course the next thing I hear is this is Mrs. Griffin.
Yep. But that was a
But
nice
she
venue.
was just getting out of the Air Force or the
Navy.
military
Navy.
or whatever,
She was in
Navy,
the
whatever
Navy.
it was at the time. Yeah.
But that was a nice venue. It was interesting. I forget how many tables they put in that place, but
We had, I think we had 49 footers and a few bar boxes. Remember in the back area there where the little concessions were, and then we had the one in your room.
yeah. Nasty. I'm not leaving.
I'd rather die.
I'm guessing. Well, I mean, if you're a $5 an hour hotel security guard in Louisville and Nasty says I'm not leaving, what are you gonna do? Your best move is to keep going.
Yeah, now it's a tough dude to move, I'll bet.
Well, speaking of moving, if San Francisco can come around and get straight in on that 6, Stan's going to be moving to his next match. But
Nice
I don't
segue,
think-
Ken.
Don't think he really cares.
He's got skills.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. You know when I think
Who's he using a bridge?
when I think of Nasty, all I can think about is that cobbler at Duff's.
Oh God. I was the cobbler.
Never mind the cobbler. The
sandwich,
the
the pork
sandwich,
sandwich or
the
whatever.
the pork sandwich
Bigger in your head.
that hung off the edge of the plate. The plate was 15 inches in diameter, and the sandwich didn't fit.
Remember
Yeah.
Nasty said that? He said, like, if we have to go outside and we don't have an umbrella, we'll just use one of these buns.
Were you there for the tornado? Easy?
No, I wasn't. I was there after that.
There you go.
All right. Well, everybody, that's going to conclude the live feed for today. And we want to say once again how much we appreciate all of you being with us. We saw a great 9-ball final. Again, congratulations to Stan. And, check with them up there.
Thanks.